managing client expectations.
I see posts like this all the time in dog groups.
We overcomplicate and we overpromise in these consultations.
That's what people are kind of led to believe.
I think this is where a lot of us go wrong. Morning, Vicky.
Morning, Moorcroft.
We haven't done one like this before with a little morning introduction. We're on GMTV now.
Okay, we will be one day.
Damn straight. I put a post out this morning and asked what people would like us to cover. And one of the topics that came up was managing client expectations.
Ooh, this is a good juicy one, isn't it?
Give me your thoughts.
Managing client expectations. Clients are annoying.
Are they?
No.
Done. Podcast episode over.
I think it's more about us. Our role is to manage their expectations right from the outset.
So our role as the business owner.
Yes. In everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, I'm guessing this is from the training perspective. I don't think there was much detail around the answer, was there?
Just client expectations.
I mean, we can cover it in a couple of ways, but I'm thinking it's probably like, how do you get them to do the work?
I mean, it does come up a lot.
Yeah, it could be that. But actually, it could be like the whole process. When you take somebody on, are they clear all the way through? Do they know what's coming next? Do they know what's expected of them? Or do you just spring stuff on them and then get annoyed that they're not doing the work?
Yep. Okay, let's run through some examples then. So let's jump in with a training one because that's our bag, let's face it. And client expectations. So, God, where do you even bring it back to? So let's assume you've put a post out on the socials and you've done the usual, I've got a class available, like here's all the dates, here's the location, so many spaces left, DM me, or a link maybe, or whatever it is, but basically like everything you're ever going to need to know is in that one post. That's gone out with a picture of a dog in the class maybe. There you go, that's out. Then let's assume people book onto that either via DMing you, and then again, I'm making massive assumptions here. You do the backs thing. You send your bank details over and somebody transfers the pennies into your account.
Or it could be like an online payment thing.
Yeah. They're becoming a little bit more popular now, aren't they? Depending on what banks you're with. You can do links directly into your bank account. I think the Tide might do that, or Monzo. One of them do anyway. Beside the point. So you've now got somebody in, they've paid, and they're now in your class setup. Does this work actually? I'm trying to think because I never really did the classes. Would that same process work in a one-to-one?
How do you mean?
So I'm trying to think what you would post if you were offering one-to-one sessions. Would you post something like, I don't typically see it. I think this is why I'm struggling with it. I don't typically see posts saying I've got X amount of spaces available for one-to-one clients in the dog training realm, that is. I don't see one-to-one advertised as much. But I don't know if that's just my social media feed.
No, I agree. I don't think it probably is.
How did you do it? Because you offered your ad hoc.
I never advertised them.
Never advertised it. How did you get your people?
Ever. I had a million other services, didn't I? That was the last thing I was thinking about.
So how did you get people into one-to-one?
They would generally need a bit more support in class.
Oh, so they were from...
Usually it was like a bit of a funnel from classes.
Right, okay. Then.
Unless somebody rang me up asking about classes and they weren't suitable for a class environment, and sometimes that would be a one-to-one, but I never outwardly talked about them really.
Yeah, okay then. Okay, so there's like these a few different approaches, isn't it then? So I think from a marketing perspective, you typically, and again, massive stereotype generalization here, are going out on social saying, you've got your class availability, yada, yada, yada. I think the one-to-ones, from my experience anyway, and from what our clients have said to us over the last couple of years, is they're normally a Google inquiry and they've just landed upon your page somehow, not through any strategic means of getting your SEO right or your website or anything like that. It's just been a Google search and you happen to have come up in that feed. And then it's been a conversation around the service that you offer, and maybe a one-to-one has been discussed, and then ta-da, you've now sold it, and again you've got the money in the bank. Or maybe you haven't. You're not getting paid until you've delivered it.
Well, a typical thing I think would be that somebody lands on a website, there's so many services, they don't know which one they should go for. And then that might lead into a conversation about having a one-to-one.
Yeah, potentially. Okay. So already, if you're looking at those two examples, my brain is immediately going to, I don't even really know what I'm buying from the customer point of view. I know I'm buying a trainer in the one-to-one example, and I know I'm buying a class in the other one. I don't really know what the outcome is based on, again, the fact that all I've bought is the stuff, like the location, the time, how long it's running for. And then maybe in that one-to-one bit, it's I can help with that, whatever the thing is. Let's book one session in or a consultation and let's see what's what. So I suppose from a customer expectation point of view or a client expectation, you have to start asking yourself, what do you want them to walk away with, and what do you want to walk away with? Because I think, again, even just looking at those two examples, it's very generating cash led is how I feel about it. Here's a thing, buy my thing. Do you know what, every time I say those words now, I've got visions of an old reel that was pulled from you, like, buy this thing. It's just on repeat in my head, buy this thing. But that's it.
Yeah.
But that's literally how it comes across in my mind, because we do a lot of work in really considering that customer journey.
But also, don't you think that almost sets the expectation when something is, and I know everything's got a length to it, everything's got a duration. So whether it's an hour or whether it's a year, there's a duration. But again, I think it's setting the expectation of what that duration is going to give somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you are, like for me, when I was offering the one-to-ones, let's do a session. Like for the person on the receiving end of that, they're going to go, oh, it's only going to take a session then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, that's on me saying a session. It shouldn't be that. It should be, if we want to do a session by session, it's a session to assess what's what, and then we devise something longer because we know full well it's not going to be a session. So using that example with the class example, like the 6-week class that we've talked about before, whoever invented that needs shooting in the head. It's like, it's not going to be fixed in inverted commas in 6 weeks. You're not going to have the perfect puppy in 6 weeks, but that's what people are kind of led to believe.
Yeah, this is it. It is managing those expectations. So it's like, if you do genuinely want to offer those puppy classes and you do genuinely want to offer those one-off sessions, fine, but manage those expectations. And I think this is where a lot of us go wrong, because we put all of that ownership on the person and that blame on the person and go like, well, you're crap if you don't want to continue working with me, and you're not as committed to that dog as I am because you don't want to buy any more sessions with me, or you haven't put the work in. Well, how have you set it up? Because again, if you're going in from a marketing and a sales positioning of buy this thing, I have to say it like that now, buy this thing, that's all you're doing, then where, from a customer's point of view, how do they know what you're expecting of them? Because it's been positioned unintentionally that the thing that you have put out there for sale is going to solve pretty much anything and everything. Like if they're coming to you and saying, oh, I need help with, I don't know, let's just go through some of the basics, like loose lead walking. Yeah, okay, cool, I can help with that. Oh, and can you also help me with recall? Yeah, okay, yeah, I can help you with that. And can you also help me with something else? Or maybe it's just, let's just keep it simple.
Jumping up.
Yeah, it's like, okay, those three things. Like, yep, okay, fine. And in the trainer's brain, you could be going, yeah, I can show you the techniques to go through those three things. Like, I can show you those. And again, I've talked about this before, like the way I was brought up in the industry was you teach three things. I was thinking, yep, okay, cool. I can show you how to do those three exercises. And then it's off you go do your thing, you go practice. And if that wasn't discussed at any point during the sales process or the marketing messaging that I will show you how to do it, but it is on you, then arguably there's going to be is mismatch the right description of it? Like, yeah, mismatch of expectations around it. So you're going in thinking, I'm going to show you how to do it, but you've got to do it. And the client's potentially thinking, brilliant, you've told me you can do this. You're selling it as a session. That dog's going to be fixed in that session.
But then don't you hear people moan about, oh God, as if they thought it was going to be fixed in a session.
Well, yeah.
Like, well, you kind of put that out by only offering a session.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, just not explaining it, because it's this whole thing and of, if you only want to offer one-offs, because I do understand it from some people's thought process that maybe they do want to go in and do
An assessment.
The equivalent of the assessment or a consultation or something to see whether or not you genuinely feel like you can support. I'm like, fine, not a problem. But set it up that way so that it is really fucking clear to that buyer as well to go, okay, this is literally what I'm going to get.
You are paying for me to come along and find out more information and assess whether I can do the next thing.
Yeah. And that's it. And I think this is where we overcomplicate and we overpromise in these consultations, because all of a sudden we then feel, oh, well, if I'm going out and I'm charging, you know how we feel about this word, charging for my time to come out, well, I better give you something for it. So now I've got to do the write-up plan, the training plan, like maybe put it up into like a pretty document and overwhelm them with all the jargon and all the words because you feel like, can't possibly charge them like £90 for a one-off. So, okay, maybe I'll keep it at like 35 or 50. But this is where it gets really messy, because you're essentially trying to sell an hour of your time and you're not selling an outcome. So from the expectation side of it, you're both coming at this from different angles. And that's where it gets incredibly frustrating, because you're singing off different hymn sheets.
Yeah, and this is why owners trainer hop such a lot. Because if they've gone to somebody wanting an outcome, been offered a one-off session, been thrown loads of stuff at them, and there's no follow through, there's no after support or continued support rather, and they're expected to just do the thing. And who's going to retain that information, like really, without seeing somebody, again and again? Mm-hmm. And then they go, oh God, I don't know what to do with this. I'm just going to try and go somewhere else now, hoping for that experience to be better, and it might be the same kind of thing. And then they go to somebody else. And then by the time they've come across the fourth person, they're kind of a bit burnt by it all, possibly, and go like, well, if you're offering me something that costs a lot more money, I'm either going to be like all in because I'm like, finally somebody who's going to see me through, or they're going to go, oh, I don't know, I'm really cautious now. So you could have either effect, couldn't you? But typically, like when I was seeing one-to-one clients, unless they'd come through me, through classes, and they'd only known me, you can invariably say that most people had trainer hopped around. And, back in the old days where I'd go like, oh, well, I'll do this and I'll do that and I'll do it differently. In my mind going, well, I can do a better job than they did, and actually probably doing no better job. And they might have continued their trainer hop journey after me if I'd only seen them once.
Yeah.
So that's on me again to not set that expectation correctly.
Yeah. But I think the same can be said even if you're offering these longer term programs, which obviously you and I are big advocates for. If you're not setting those up, like, essentially, it doesn't matter what service you're offering, does it? As long as it's really clear on both parties what you're agreeing to. It's almost like imagine because I was going to say the word contract, but I don't want people to go off and actually do like a big written, like, you will agree to do this, X, Y, and Z. But just imagine that kind of thought process around it. Like, it's that unspoken contract, but needs to be spoken, going, this is what I expect from you. This is what you can expect from me. And just lay it out, like, whatever your service is. And this is transferable across all the different dog industries. Like, if you are a groomer, it's the same thing. It's like, right, when you hand over your dog for their groom, this is what you can expect off the back of it. If that dog is uncomfortable in any which way, if that's how you operate, and again, this is your thing, it's your business. If you don't want to put pressure on that dog and it's too stressful for them, you have to state very clearly up front that you are paying for the time to be able to do the service, if that's what you want to do, and go, if for whatever reason we can't complete it, the payment is still required because of XYZ. Just state it clearly. Because this is where, again, you're going to get problems and I've heard of people say this, like old training clients, where they've gone, oh God, that groomer was an absolute nightmare because the dog wasn't overly keen on their nails being cut or something, or they didn't like the noise of the dryers. So therefore they're still charging me, but they didn't do the job. I'm like, well, I kind of get it. However, I also understand it from your side as well, because clearly there's a miscommunication.
And also another example for groomers, which I used to get a lot, is people saying that they'd shave the dog, like
yes.
And it's like, well, there's a maintenance in between the clips. And anyone who's a groomer listening to this will be like, yep, they have to do their bit in between, because if the dog comes along and it's absolutely matted and knotted, the only choice the groomer has is to shave that dog really short, like really close. And then we get disgruntled clients. Well, are we setting that expectation of going, like, the next time I see that dog, I want you to make sure that it's, brushed regularly, that it's not going to get to the point where it needs shaving off. It's that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not here to tell you what to do in your, your grooming business or anything, but this is something I hear a lot, or used to hear a lot from clients going, oh, I went to this groomer's and now the dog looks like this. And I'm thinking, well, why? Like, were you not explained, or did you not receive the information very well and they did explain it and you just didn't do it? What could be done better there between that kind of line of communication, really?
Yeah.
So there's lots in it.
It's a huge amount, because it kind of brings it full circle into thinking you have to know your service inside out. You have to know how your ability is going to support somebody. So using that grooming example, like, if you know you are going to be dealing with dogs, and let's face it, it's typically the doodly-doos, isn't it, that are going to be all matted and what have you, why not create a service that allows that maintenance option? So it's like, right, you can buy package A or package B. Package A is you are going to take full responsibility for the maintenance grooms in between, whatever it is. Like, if I'm going to see them monthly, you have to do the rest. This is the agreement. That's the price point. That's package A. Package B is like the gold standard one. So you can either pay me for the next 12 months or something in advance, or on a direct debit, and go, I will take care of everything. You drop them off and we will do fortnightly grooms to keep on top of it so that your dog does not become matted, and you whack a load of outcome-based stuff in. And again, that's just some top line thinking of without looking into it in any detail. But you have to look at, who are you helping? What is your service supposed to do? And then how can you communicate that clearly so that when clients are coming in, they know exactly what they're going to get. It's the same as if you go to like a food restaurant though, isn't it? It's like, we've had this conversation. I can't remember where we were having it though, on the plane, where the pictures of the food.
Oh, don't equate to what you get.
Yeah. You're like, oh, that looks amazing. And then, of course, you know it's going to come wrapped up in some plastic shrink wrap thing that's just been chucked in a microwave. And you're like, oh, doesn't look like that picture at all. Managing the expectations, because that's where you feel a little bit disgruntled that you're paying now £13 or something for a cheese toastie on a plane, and it gets delivered to you in a shrink wrap thing, bit of plastic, all shriveled up. You're like, that does not equal that value.
And really, we know that that's what it's going to come in. But
Yeah.
when we see a picture looking like that, you're like, oh, hopefully it looks like, well, of course it's not going to look like that.
Yeah. But, you know, you can literally see it across so many different examples. Like, just set up the expectation of what it's going to look like. We had an experience last night at dinner whereby 2 members of staff were quarrelling. Ooh, I haven't used a quarrelling in a while.
I don't know whether quarrelling is the right word. It looked like they were going to punch each other at one point.
It was an intense argument between both of them. And I mean, we didn't really care in one sense. It just provided a little bit of entertainment for us. But we always take a step back and go, like, fucking hell, like, from a business perspective, like, that's really shit service.
Really unprofessional.
Yeah, it's really bad. And we could have kicked off and said, I'm sorry, but I didn't need to be privy to that. I didn't need to see that whilst I'm trying to enjoy my meal. Take it like it's unacceptable.
And it happened. Actually, remember, we walked, you know, when you check in at a restaurant and you stood by the thing and there was an argument going on as we arrived. The table wasn't ready. He was shouting at her. She was shouting back. And that was literally as we walked in.
Yeah.
And this is like a chain restaurant. This is not like some little, you know.
Yeah,
it's like a national chain.
Yeah.
We were just like, okay.
Okay. And again, it did provide us a little bit of entertainment.
Well, yeah.
But we're like, do you know what I mean? I think if we were with a different company, that would have been incredibly
There were some
unacceptable.
events though in that room. There was birthdays, there was like business meeting, like there was a lot going on in there. And you kind of go like, yeah, if you were stood in front of the wrong people, that could have absolutely had really bad consequences. But
all of this is like that expectation level of how do you want your business to be set up so that it's really clear what your part is and what their part is. And it is that contract bit without it having to be like a written signed for document every time. But it's like, this is what I expect from you. This is what you can expect back from me. And I'm really conscious, and I feel like I need to caveat that by, I think we can take that too far as well. And when I've seen some people try and put messaging on their websites to go like, actually, these are my expectations of you. Like, I need you to commit like an hour a day to doing this exercise with your dog. You need to absolutely listen to everything that I have to say. You have to message me if there's something going wrong. Do you mean there's a lot of
onus on the owner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge amount of onus on the owner.
Actually, I'm glad you brought this up because I feel like this comes up quite a lot with they should be providing me with videos, training videos, and I am giving my part here. Like, I am saying, I'll help you and I want you to give back and again, I don't know how much of this is explained up front, but as they are going through the process, they're like, they're supposed to be sending me things and they're not. And I'm just like, well, are they comfortable sending you a video? Is that an easy, I think we've mentioned possibly way back actually about videos and stuff. And like, some people don't find that an easy thing to do. Mm-hmm. Some people find it a bit judgy, even though it's supposed to be constructive criticism, I know, and anything you can improve on. Some people feel really exposed doing something like that and don't want to be kind of almost told that they're doing something wrong on a video. And it just feels a little bit strange. And I think might have given the example of if that was my mum, for example, I think she'd really struggle to do a video and send it back. And I don't know. I just think sometimes it's like a one size fits all type approach.
Yeah.
And if that person doesn't do the thing that they're told to do, that's a bad owner. And actually, I think for us, it's like find out what they're comfortable doing and what is right for both parties in that situation, because it might be that isn't the right thing for them anyway.
Well, yeah. And also, I think I've had it before where sometimes common sense just doesn't prevail.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so, I'll use a lead walking example again. And I've had clients go, oh, I was trying to film it, but I couldn't figure out how to hold the phone, how to hold the lead, how to hold the treats. So I just gave up on filming. And I was like, oh, totally get that. I'm so sorry. I did not maybe give you the right direction on how to record it.
Or
Just
we assumed there'd be a person involved that could do it for them.
Yeah, I was like, well, how about, so-and-so gets involved and records you doing it? Or what I tend to do is I just balance my phone up against a tree if I'm out or whatever it is, just so I can see different angles. And they're like, oh my God, I never thought of that. And again, it's like, duh, to a degree, but also my bad. Like I made an assumption that it was really obvious. And I think it is so easy to forget that we as human beings have a lot going on in our heads. Like I genuinely do not, like if you think back to like caveman days, we didn't have all of the stuff that we all have to worry about now. Like your phone's going off every 2 seconds. You've got, worldwide access to everything. Everything's open. Like your food shopping's being delivered within 2 hours of you being able to order it online. There is so much stuff everywhere that you've got to keep up with. And the fact that, sometimes a little bit of common sense just drops out of your head and go, I didn't even think to actually just do that. I haven't even got time to do it.
Mm-hmm. Or it's something on the list, but it just gets put by the wayside because everything else needs them more. And, it's this thought process around like I'm giving, as the trainer, I'm giving my part here. I've done my bit and they're not upholding their side of it. They know they should be doing these things and they're not doing it. And for me, that isn't like take a step back and try and understand why it's not been done. And rather than just, I don't know, reprimanding them without them hearing it and venting about it, like, let's have a conversation about it. Oh, I've noticed that we're not, haven't received any videos from you. Like, I'd love to explore that a little bit more then. What's happening? Just ask the question.
Yeah.
But I see posts like this all the time in dog groups. People don't do the work. People aren't sending me things like they know they should be. It's like they're being told off at school.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
You didn't do your homework. Homework, isn't it? That's the thing people call it actually as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't do your homework, therefore you're a really bad dog owner and you're not committed and you don't want to help your dog, your poor dog.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of that impression, which is sad.
It is really sad because, I'd like to thinking positively in everything, which is definitely my preferred go-to when I think about anything. I genuinely do not believe that anybody is ever setting out with bad intentions to harm, hurt, neglect their dog. I know these things can happen, but I genuinely like to believe in the human race and go, it's not the intention. Sometimes it's a lack of education. Sometimes it's a lack of awareness. Sometimes it's the fact it's a lack of capability within oneself, depending on what else is going on in your life. Because we all know it. If something's really taking a lot of your brain energy, you do let things slip.
Or it could even be that they're not really sure about what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's that as well. You don't want to look an idiot, do you? So you just put it off and put it off. Like for example, with our clients, if we've set action points or tasks for them to do and they haven't done it, we're not going to go like, well, why haven't you done that for? Like we said to you last time that you needed to do X, Y, and Z. You haven't done it. It's like, okay, so last time we spoke, we set that as an action. Where are we at with that? Oh, well, I haven't done it. Okay, let's talk about why that hasn't happened then. And we're trying to understand because it could be they're not sure. It could be something about it is a bit scary and they haven't done it because of that reason. Or it could just simply be they're just busy and they haven't got around to it. Other things have taken priority. But it's not our job to be coming down them like a ton of bricks. And I'm not saying that that's what you're doing necessarily if you're struggling with this kind of problem. But by outwardly venting about it, how is that helping either? Like if you're not communicating that directly to the client, but you are going about it, we need to have a different approach because
Yeah.
that isn't helping.
Yeah. It's do you know what just suddenly crossed my mind when you were saying that? We do this outward venting in these different groups. How the hell do you know that there isn't somebody in that group that knows you and knows the person that
I
you're
always
talking
think
about?
this. I always do think this.
Like, I suppose your brain compartmentalizes to a degree, doesn't it? You're like, right, if I'm going to have a little vent in a specific trainers group or a specific grooming group or whatever your service is, my clients definitely aren't in there. Well, no, they might not be, but you never know. Because I've had clients over the years that have joined certain groups because they are interested in learning more about dog knowledge. And I'm like, I need to be a little bit careful. Not that I've ever done it, but I'm like, I would need to be really mindful that they are in that group.
But regardless, if they're in that group, there might be other dog owners in that group that are not.
Exactly.
I'm seeing it and going like, oh God, if that's what they're saying about us, it just doesn't feel great. And I think this comes back down to that episode we did about, we talk a lot about it anyway, surrounding yourself with the right people. And if you've got a group like that and people are venting and people are validating the venting and just almost like fueling it more, that's only going to make the negativity worse. And again, it's not a solution. How is it going to help that problem? It's just going to like make your mindset even more, I don't know, just more negative.
Yeah, there's too much negativity in the world anyway.
And it's lovely when you get somebody on a thread like that going like, have you thought, because if that was me or you, we'd be coming at it from a completely different angle. Have you actually set what have you actually done to try and set that expectation? How have you tried to address that with your own? Oh, well, I haven't, because they should be doing it. Like it's that kind of thing, isn't it? Of that's how we really should be looking at it. Take a step out. If that were you, and I think it's always such a good thing to do, and go like, if that were you, and you hadn't, like, what are the reasons you might not do your homework for various different things? Is it an intentional thing? Is it because you just go, well, I'm not doing that? Of course it won't be. There'll be a genuine, valid reason for it.
It's hard, isn't it? Because when you try and put yourself in their shoes, I actually think this is a skill that a lot of us lack. We're not able to, because you know how we've said before, and I know we have this conversation a lot with our clients in the Business Basics group coaching program as well, whereby you have to detach yourself from the business to a degree. You have to detach yourself and go like, that's just because I think like that, it doesn't mean somebody else would think like that. And then of course it goes into this weird little grey area where sometimes you do have to think and put yourself in their shoes, but not necessarily with your lens. It's just your lens as that role, like that you're now in a buyer's position, not you specifically, but you are now in a buyer's position. You are now in a mentee position or whatever it is. And
but I think it is that, you're right. And that's kind of what I meant when I said it, but it's kind of like, how can you, I think it's such a skill, isn't it? To be able to, take yourself out, but almost put yourself in the position, but with that kind of real generalist kind of view around it. It's really hard to even explain it and articulate it, isn't it?
And I think an example to help like iterate this point is a sales one comes up quite a lot. I think we've done an episode recently on like following up and being able to actually have conversations with people for as long as it takes until that fuck off and die message kind of comes in. Now, if you put yourself in the shoes through your lens, potentially, your brain could go, well, I wouldn't like that, so I'm definitely never going to follow up with somebody because I would not want to be in a position where somebody is nagging and badgering at me. Why is it badgering? Really weird word, but anyway. Brain went off on a tangent. Well, I wouldn't want that, so therefore I'm not going to do it. However, in that same example, if you put yourself in the mindset of that client, okay, they might not like it also. However, if it's done through service and you've genuinely made a connection and you're not trying to sell, you're trying to serve, it's a completely different energy. So actually, I would quite like that But it's being able to remove yourself from that initial thought of, well, I wouldn't like it, because we all have these associations with like cold calls and spammy calls, and like the amount of spammy calls we get now, and I don't even know what's going on, but you can see it. I'm not even going to answer it because it's going to be a shit phone call. Like, if you want me, you'll follow up, like leave a message, keep trying to contact me, not just through the phone and things like that. So it's trying to, detach yourself from your negative feelings about something and then just look at it through a different lens. But it's a really difficult skill. Like, in my opinion, like, you absolutely need coaching on how to do that.
Yeah.
That doesn't come naturally. I wouldn't have been able to do that without like years of support to really put myself in that headspace.
No, you're right. It does take someone to help you look at things differently, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think that's why I love doing those group coaching calls in Business Basics. I love being in that position where we can help coach people through those mindset blocks, because it is still a tactic that's needed to be able to get to this point of managing those client expectations, because it's not as easy as going, right, okay, just put a post out then saying, if you want to buy this thing from me, this is what I expect from you and this is what you can expect from me. If it were that simple, fucking brilliant. But it's not. It's not just one post. There's so many different variables. There's so many different like facets and loopholes and all the stuff that you've got to look at and go, it's not just that one thing. I have to apply it here, there, and there, and there. My mindset has to be in this position. I need to be having these conversations.
And we haven't even gone into what we've talked about previously with the way people buy and everybody's personality types. And some people don't need a lot of detail to buy, and some people need loads of detail to buy. And that's a whole other layer of it, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because, a post that is very direct, very to the point, and going like, this is what you'll get if you want, if you feel like this and you want that, that's what you'll get. Great. That might appeal to some people. And then you might get somebody else who needs a lot more detail. Now, is that appropriate for a post, or is that appropriate for a conversation that happens after they've inquired? Like, so it's trying to get that balance dance right as well of those factors. And that's why, like, again, I just find it's never one dimensional in any of these little bits that we focus on. There's always like a 3D kind of way of looking at it and approaching it, isn't there?
Yeah.
And that's why it makes it. And again, I'm going to be really like, I don't know, controversial with what I'm going to say, because it's complicated in one respect, because there are lots of things to consider, but it's really simple once you understand that you need to consider all of these things. So I know that's going to sound really contradictory.
Yeah, I get it. It's but I'm going to loop this back to, you have to know who it is you're speaking to, know what it is that your service is going to be able to offer, because even in your little summary version of that, then I'm going, this is why our programs are 12 months.
Yeah, so much to go through.
It's like, because we know that we would be doing anyone who came on board a disservice by only offering, well, even a handful of sessions. And that's why we changed the model in the dog training world as well. It wasn't a case of, let's do this because you can put a higher ticket price on it. It was what's best for that client and for us as the business and for us as individual trainers to go, where do we shine? How can we help? And how can we get somebody from A to B with an outcome-based service? Not a case of you just buy my hours, essentially.
And effectively, you could directly compare that to the way that a lot of trainers look at working with the dog holistically. They're looking at every single aspect of how the training or the behaviour modification or the focus is going to then have a ripple effect onto everything else. And I think, again, like you've just described that really lovely in a way that it's going, it isn't that we just earn more money, it's that the person gets better service, therefore the dog gets a better life and everyone wins. And this is where it is that 3-dimensional view of everything.
Yeah. You do really have to know what you're able to provide somebody. I was thinking of an example actually of the kids swimming. So I've booked them into, they've been doing swimming lessons ever since they were like 10 months old. And it's literally like a 20, I can't remember if it's 20 or 30-minute lesson every week. So that's a lot of lessons they've had since 10 months, considering they're now 4 and soon to be 6. And my brain goes, what? Why can't you swim yet? Like, they're getting there, but it's such a small amount of time in the grand scheme of things. Whereas, Jesus, like sticking them on a tree, they can climb a tree. They're like a freaking cat on it. They can get to the top. They can jump down, land on their feet. Like, but I'm like, you're doing that every single day. You're practicing that skill every single day. And I always wonder, I was like, if that particular business provider, because it's a very generalized model, isn't it? That swimming lessons one, or whatever kind of club that you can join. You do it for like an hour a week and you get different intensity levels. But I am pretty confident, I could be completely wrong on this, but this is how I feel. If they were to offer me like an intense, like, right, if you want your child to learn to swim in a space of whatever they deem as the professional, like 0 to 6 months, or, you know, in a 12-month period, we can get them swimming and base it on an outcome, and then provide like the package around that outcome. So whatever that looks like, whether that's 3 lessons a week, whether that's a week intense course, whether whatever it is, I'm like, I can see the outcome on that. Because currently I'm like spending £45 a month per child, so 90 quid for 20 to 30 minutes in a pool where they have a little bit of fun. And what's the outcome? I almost feel like I'm wasting my money in some respect and my time, because it's in the middle of the day on a Friday. It takes the whole day out. I'm like, surely there's a better way.
Yeah.
But again, it's managing those expectations of like, I don't really know what I'm expecting, because it's just been positioned as it's a 30-minute class.
Yeah. But there isn't any reason why they shouldn't be able to swim right now.
But
if it was structured in a way whereby it was setting them up for more success, I suppose.
And actually, now I've said it out loud, they're not selling the outcome of your child will learn how to swim. They're selling swimming lessons.
An activity for your child to do every week. Yeah.
And somehow, and that actually, oh God, my brain's on fire. That was
an epiphany.
That is an epiphany. That is a really good fucking example of like that mismatch of expectation. Because my expectation is, fuck me, you've been doing that for the best part of 5 years. Why can you not swim? And their expectation is, well, we've sold you 30 minutes every Friday.
Yeah, that's very different.
Very different. Oh,
there you go.
Interesting. But it's the same thing.
Yeah. You'll be coaching them on how to present a
damn sure. I trained their dog as well.
Oh, there you go. You're in.
But again, like, I suppose that's an example of, that's a business model that's clearly working for them in terms of turnover and their bottom line and everything, but not from necessarily the outcome-based
the customer experience.
Yeah.
And there might be many customers that are very happy with that, because
it's a well-known model, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many puppy classes?
Yep.
That's exactly what I'm buying. I'm buying 30 minutes to an hour or something every Thursday. That's all I'm buying. I'm not buying an outcome.
No.
Oh, let us know what you think about this episode. I'm curious.
Yeah, and hopefully that's answered the question, which we didn't have a lot of detail around it. So we hope we've kind of covered every angle that it possibly could be.
Yep. Cool beans, right?
See you. Toodly-doo.